Hello everyone, my name is Lowko and welcome back to another video. Now some of you might remember the Predator Gaming sponsored video that I did a couple of weeks ago, where I went in depth and in detail on all of the specifications of the Triton 700 laptop. Well, it turns out that Predator Gaming liked the video so much that they went ahead and they sponsored today's video as well. Now in the first video, I went in detail on all of the specifications and all of the hardware of this laptop. Today, I want to focus on gameplay instead. Now here's the thing, obviously hardware and whatnot is nice, but what really matters is the day-to-day performance. So today's video is 100% edited as well as recorded, with the exception of obviously this camera, but the gameplay will be recorded by the laptop while simultaneously playing StarCraft 2. Alrighty. So here we are in a game of StarCraft 2 in a 1 versus 1 match where I will be giving commentary to the game at the exact same time as I'm playing as well. So please keep that one in mind. My opponent is a Terran player, if I'm not mistaken. There we go. Apparently he goes by the name of, Kakukushu? I think that's it. That's a cute name. I like that actually. That's fun to say. Anyways, we're gonna try our very best and commentate this game while playing it at the exact same time. Now, I did decide to plug in a Predator Gaming mouse, so I am using that one. However, I am using the laptop keyboard, which does take a little bit of getting used to, because obviously it's a little different than my home gaming setup, but there's no denying it's absolutely fantastic. It's really, really solid. As a matter of fact, I've been using this laptop for a couple weeks now. I took it to several events as well. I've been editing videos while on the go, and it works like an absolute charm. I have absolutely no complaints. Anyways, obviously this is a sponsored video, right? So maybe I sound like a fanboy saying those kind of things, but genuinely, I think it's really good. Let's go ahead and start up with a hatch gas pool. I need to try and see if my opponent is maybe cheesing me. This is one of the things we do have to worry about when we go for that early hatchery on the low ground. But with the timing here of the spawning pool, I don't think it's really gonna bother us all too much. I'm using the second overlord for exactly that, by the way, sending the first one across. I want to try and figure out what it is my opponent exactly is going for. Looks like there's already an SCV scout though from him, which kind of indicates that he also wants to figure out what it is I'm doing. Since obviously we are both blocked by the fog of war. We both need to kind of figure out what's going on. But just by judging, right, that he goes for a early SCV scout, it kind of means that he's not cheesing me. Otherwise he wouldn't really be going for such a conservative scout around my base either. Send him back the second overlord right now just to make sure that we keep a close eye out on any bunkers that might be coming up, but no, none of that is happening. Alright. I'm expecting to see a command center on the low ground here. Doesn't necessarily have to be the case. Some players like to get it inside of the main base. Alright, nothing to see so far. Let's pull the drones out of gas. There's a Reaper now coming, and there's the CC. Alright, so this is still very much so a normal game. He just decided to play this a little bit more conservatively. And that's already, right, the SCV scout. And then also the fact that he built the CC in the main, that really is the sign of a conservative Terran player. That does mean he's likely not gonna cut any corners and he's just gonna try and play super safe and solid. I don't mind that whatsoever. It's personally the style that I like to play with Zerk as well. Let's go ahead and start up the third hatchery now that we know he's got another base. Ooh, sadly I did run out of resources there, so I'm not gonna be able to build a spore crawler there to keep that unit alive for a little while longer. But it should be okay. One drone is usually okay. Ideally, obviously, you don't lose anything, but I'd much rather have my third base up at the perfect time than have it delayed. If you can, I want to start up more and more here as well as far as eco goes. There's a starport coming up as well as a marine, so we have to get on out of there with our overlords. And I also do know that my opponent has more than likely Hellions coming up here in just a little bit, so we have to try and stay alive. Now, in the Zerg vs Terran matchup, it's very much so up to the Zerg player to try and get that really big, booming economy. Now, Terran usually, on the other hand, will try and slow down that economy as much as possible. Right now, though, I know exactly what it is he's doing. Obviously, he could still go for a massive variety of units, which is what makes this build of his so strong. The 1-1-1, one starport, one factory, one barracks. But all things considered, I think we should be okay. I'm actually going to start this one over at the third, so I can start the lair up inside of my main base. I'll be putting 2 drones back into the gas. And I'm going to also continue making some Zerglings here. So the early game queens are really good at not just injecting hatcheries and keeping up that production, but more importantly also for really keeping that early game defense in check. I want to go for a baneling nest here. And we'll lay down a tumor over here on the edge too. Now speaking of defense, they're needed. Don't want to take any unnecessary risks, but I haven't lost anything critical there. And defending that for a little while already, right, is nice because it really allows me to just continue playing here. There's a Viking out as well, so there is a chance that he's got, for example, Banshees or Liberators or whatnot coming too. Gonna put up some spores just for safety's sake, right? That's like a safety precaution there. I'll be going for... Ooh, that's a risk, Lowko. Don't do that. Putting all your workers on idle is bad, believe it or not. But I'm gonna be able to start up some additional gas here and shortly also that baneling speed upgrade, which is very, very critical in this matchup. Now, sadly, I didn't get a proper scout off there, which is gonna make this just a little more difficult. Did get a lot of additional workers once again. Okay. Let's put some drones in the gas. And let's also start up one overseer so I can start scouting around his bases. I'm gonna make a couple of additional links here too, just because I don't have that much of an army here. But I think all things considered, we're in a good spot. I can even start looking into a 4th hatchery now, which I'm gonna be taking over here at the 4th base location. Overseer's moving across. Okay, there's a cloaked Banshee. Means that I'm gonna need one of those units at home as well. I did put spores up in every base, so this should be more than safe right now. Okay. Well, if he gives me the Banshee, that'd be generous. Thank you very much, Mr. Terran player. Bit of a miss micro there by him, not gonna lie, but I'll take it, right? Every advantage we can get. That does mean... Oh, I gotta be careful, actually. I pulled a lot of my workers there from that base. That does mean that I want to start up some evolution chambers here, as well as some additional drones once more. Alright, so it looks like it's gonna be a bio-based army switch here from him. Very good. All I really need to know right now. Let's go for a macro hatchery inside of my main base too, so that's gonna be for additional larva generation. And let's really start pushing that creep out as far as we can too. With this kind of production though, I'm gonna be able to start up a lot of overlords and then really start producing a really large army. Bench speeds should already be done, which is super good. Let's start up +1/+1. A little bit late on the +1/+1 to be completely honest with you, but it's okay. Considering how much we shut down of his eco already, I think this is just fine. Now creep spread becomes really nice here, because the more creep spread I get, the more I get to push out and slow down his attacks. Okay, I got a lot of safety banelings here. Let's go ahead and inject as much as possible. I'm gonna transfer some drones from my 3rd base towards my 4th that just finished up. Because he does have cloak, I do want to make sure that I get myself a spore in that base too. And let's continue injecting here with as many units as we can. Now that I've got the Hydra den, I'm also going to start producing some Hydralisks. And I want to wait with more workers now until that next push. I've got a feeling there should be a push coming up. Normally you will see another... Oh my god. There's no... Ooh, we gotta be careful. There's no 3rd base. And this is a tiny map. He can be on my front step very quick. I've got a feeling this may very well be an all-in from my opponent. Okay, can you maybe get some injects done over there too? Looks like it's already being injected, which is wonderful. It's gonna be all down to me right now to do that next engagement properly. Let's get the Hydralisk ranged upgrade. But I'm just producing non-stop unit. I've been doing that for a while already. My opponent probably is banking on the fact that I'm just gonna overmake army or overmake economy, which is fair enough. It's a risk for him to take that or make that assumption, I suppose, but it's okay for me because I can just simply produce a lot more units. Okay. Now I did get a lot of creep spread out, right? You see that? It's near his front door. Ideally we wait as long as possible, but I do want to set up a concave if at all possible as well. Don't want to take any risks. Let's make some more Banes, as many as I can. It's one of the rules of Banelings. 1-1 just finished up though, so I kind of want to go for a push, right? Not a terrible idea. Maybe we can even do a bit of a run-by with some of the units that we got, just in case he did go for a 3rd base as a follow-up. Okay, he did have a third hatchery. Or a 3rd, what's it called? Command center. But the Zerglings are coming in. My opponent is trying to move forward right now with the army as well, but I've got a lot of Banelings ready to defend against this. and my opponent immediately GG's out. Alright, so let's have a look at the replay, because I think this was a pretty good example on how to play the Terran versus Zerg matchup in a more macro-focused mindset. I've got the feeling that in this game, I probably built up to like 75 workers or so near the end of the match, and my opponent maybe had like 45, maybe 50 at best. I didn't really get a proper count off of on his economy, but obviously I do know that he was sitting on 2 bases for a really long time. And since I was already mining off of like nearly 4 base eco, right? Let's say 3.5, because the 4th wasn't permanently and fully saturated. There's no denying that the longer the game goes on, right, the more time I buy, the larger my advantage will become as well, because I just simply get to produce so much more stuff. And really, like, more stuff beats less stuff, guys. A lot of people are really caught up in unit counters. I get this very frequently over at the live stream where people are like, Lowko, how do you counter this and this and that? Honestly, stuff, right? More stuff beats less stuff. It's a good rule to live by in StarCraft. Now, obviously, if your opponent is going for a lot of flying units and you're sitting on just a couple of, I don't know, roaches, it's going to be difficult to win. But you get what I'm trying to say, right? In a lot of these scenarios, more stuff just simply beats less stuff. Now already you can see my economy right here is booming. I've been powering out those workers, and considering he really did not get anything done with his early game aggression, right? Both the Hellions as well as the Cloaked Banshees got absolutely shut down. We start rocketing here in supply. I'm still making more workers. I want to go up to a healthy amount of about 70 drones ideally, and you can see my opponent is a master level player here. That he was just simply sitting back, he was, you know, sitting on that 2 base economy, and he's just waiting to go for one big push. Now, I think that was an important scout here earlier. That are those 2 Zerglings right here. First off, we sent in the Overseer, right? When we noticed that there were a lot of unit producing structures. That was an important scout. But this one right here sort of put the nail in the coffin. I check out what is going on near his 3rd base, and I realized, hey, wait a second. There's no 3rd base to be seen anywhere. That means that I'm going to be able to produce just simply a massive army. From here on out, I know my opponent is almost guaranteed to go for an all-in. From here on out, all I really need to do is make a lot of units. And that's what I'm trying to do as well, right? These kind of Zergling run-by, sure, while they deal damage, they also are meant to slow him down. Because obviously this sort of puts a timer on his attack, right? He's forced to either shove forward or to go back and defend this push. And if he goes back, obviously he's in trouble. But if he shoves forward, he is forced to go onto the creep. So these kind of Zergling run-bys aren't just there to deal damage, because I do think we kill a pretty nice amount of SCVs there too. They're also meant to really try and slow down and force the Terran into making a call. So he decides to stim forward onto the creep. The Banelings come from every angle. I got units coming from every single side. You can see the supply count doesn't lie either. The army gets smashed. And my opponent decides to GG out of the game. Alrighty, so there we have it. A very clean Zerg versus Terran, played on the Triton 700 laptop. Now let me know down below in the comment section what the video looked like, because I've been pixel peeping already. I literally cannot notice a difference whatsoever. The quality of the laptop and the videos it can produce is absolutely top notch. I'm really impressed that this laptop is capable of recording and playing simultaneously. Obviously, you do have to tweak the settings a little bit to make sure that you have a proper recording profile, but there's no denying that the laptop is perfectly capable of doing so. Anyways, for now, I want to thank you for watching. Have an amazing day. Do not forget to smile, alright? A special shout out to Predator Gaming for sponsoring this video. You guys are awesome. But I'll see you once again in the next one.